We back again. I know I missed yesterday. What was I doing yesterday? Oh, I was at the beach all day yesterday with my wife. She was trying to hit, I think the beach closed at 11. She was trying to do that. Nah, son. Nah, son. I enjoyed my time with her. I thank her for she trying to bring me back because, she don't want me to fall into a certain state of mind. And I appreciate her for that. I love her and I appreciate her for that. Um, all right, welcome back to the show. I'm waiting, I'm trying to wait to the 2 minute mark, and then I start the show. Shout out to Don D 205. You catch him on Twitch, Don D 205 at 10:22 Central Time. You can catch him on Twitter, Don D205, and you catch him on Instagram, Don D205 TV. Shout out to all the people that support me and that have been supporting me, and they helping me creep closer to that 500 mark. And that, to me, that would be a great do YouTube before there was really a lot of people really doing YouTube. I was asked to do it, but I was like, nah, because wasn't really a talker like that. I wasn't really a talker like that. So, but then I said, let me give it another shot. Then I got a lot of people that were supporting me and they were pushing me. And shout out to Leafy. Shout out to Leafy and shout out to JMMA. I get the rest of y'all shout outs after the show. All right, went before the show end. All right, we went well past the 2 minute mark. All right, welcome back everybody to Poe and the Community Speak. This is the show where actual boxing fans, sports gamers, simulation players, offline players, competitive players, content creators, and members of the community get a chance to speak honestly about the future of boxing video games. Today we are having a conversation that needs to happen because the marketing campaign for SCI next boxing game, before the boxing and SCI next boxing game getting into full swing. A lot of people wait to the last minute to try to give ideas and opinions. Don't wait till the game is out. And this is something that was told to me by developers. They got to say it before the game is out or before the game is announced. That's why I be pushing so hard. A lot of people be like, Poe, you're pushing for stuff and nobody's talking about a boxing video game. But I know that developers are thinking about making a boxing video game. I know how the industry works. All right. The question is not simply, will SCI next game look better? The real questions are, will it box better? Will it represent the sport more accurately? Will it give players meaningful options? Will offline players receive the same level of attention as online players? Will boxers finally behave like individuals? And this, I know this is something people always say, he fight like himself. They gave us probably 7 boxers that fight like themselves. And we had over 100 boxers. Only 7 boxers fought like themselves. So people could say, well, they gave us boxers that box like themselves. You see the couple that box like themselves, and you add that to every boxer that don't box like themselves. Will SCI separate simulation, competitive, hybrid, and casual gameplay? These are questions the community are asking and wondering. Or will everybody be pushed into one mandatory hybrid system that does not fully satisfy any fan base? And that's the scary part right there. SCI says it wants to create a boxing game for hardcore fans and casual players. That sounds good. It is a respectable objective. But saying that a game is for everybody does not automatically mean that everybody will receive the experience they want. Some players say a sports game is being made for everyone. What they really mean is that everyone will be placed inside the same compromised gameplay system. How's it going, Veronica Kokoda? Verona, all right. Appreciate you coming through. To the people that's in build my show up better, cause I'm like the T-Move version of what I'm doing now. All right. What they really mean is that everyone will place inside the same compromised gameplay system. The simulation players does not receive a true simulation. The casual players does not receive a properly designed accessibility mode. The competitive player receives artificial balance. How's it going, Kitten Lilac X? Appreciate you. I'm gonna leave the lap. Okay, appreciate you coming through though. The competitive players receive artificial balancing. The offline players receive fewer options. The boxing fans receive recognizable names and faces, but not necessarily recognizable styles, strategies, and ring behavior. That is the danger of the mandatory hybrid. Today we are going to discuss what boxing video games truly need, what SCI must prove, what the community should demand, and what questions must be answered before anything starts, and what questions must be answered before anybody starts handing out blind trust. All right, let me see. I'm doing well. What's up, Brooks the Great? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of people have blind trust. It's not in me to have blind trust in something. They got to prove something to me because a lot of us are making assumptions. We really are. All right. What does a boxing video game actually need? When people discuss boxing video games, the conversation often starts with the roster. Hopefully next couple of weeks. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, because I hate this version. I get a lot of traffic, but it's not the traffic that I want, and no disrespect to anybody. Okay. Appreciate you, Cooks. Yeah, because a lot of people missing that. And I supposed to have guests. I had like developers that really wanted to come in, not Steel City, because a lot of people, when they say developers, their first thing they think is Steel City. There's developers in the industry, and there's people in boxing. Like they have different jobs in boxing. They want to come on the show. Hi, bro. Nice stream. Appreciate you, man. Ragnar. V2U9V. Appreciate you. When people discuss boxing video games, the conversation will start with the roster. Who is licensed? Is Muhammad Ali in the game? Is Canelo Alvarez in the game? Are Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford, Gervonta Davis, Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor, and other major names included? A deep roster is value. Licensing matters. Different eras matter. A lot of people don't think so. That's the craziest part. They call themselves boxing fans, but they don't want boxers from every era. Historic venues matter. Belts, trainers, promoters, commentators. Can replace the actual sport, the actual gameplay. Nobody never says anything about gameplay. They want to know what boxers in the game, what venues are in the game. And a lot of these people don't even know the venues. A lot of the people do not know the venues. They don't ask for certain modes. Like a person like me, I want the amateur mode. I want the Olympics. And a lot of people don't know this. The Olympics wanted to be in Undisputed, well, the ESBC version. They wanted to be in the game. There were different organizations that wanted to be in the game. And like I tell everybody, WBA wanted to be in the game. That would have made the game authentic because we would have had all the belts. But for some strange reason, the WBA was not included. And I know the guy reached out to me, the owner of the WBA reached out to me. And I said, I'm not on the team, even though I talk a lot about the game, I'm not on the team. And I gave him Ash Habib information that I have. I gave him all the information. I gave him Ash. I gave him, at the time, Will Kinsler. And I gave him, I think his brother, Assad. I gave him that information. But nothing happened with that. And my thing is, if you calling your game Undisputed, you should have all the belts in it. But a lot of people say, no, I don't need all the belts. No, because you're not, it shows how much you like boxing. A person that likes boxing and watch boxing know that all the belts mean Undisputed. And it holds more weight to the title when you got all the belts. All right, a boxing video games needs boxing systems. A boxing video game needs boxing systems. I know about boxing systems. I can write systems and all that. Before it needs marketing systems. Because all this game is a marketing tool right now. I think they start marketing the last, 2 or 3 years after the game? No, the last year and a half after the game. And that's too late to start marketing your game. You should have been marketing in the beginning. At least with EA, they were marketing heavy with their games in the beginning. And then they start marketing while the game is progressing. You can have 200 licensed boxers, but if most of them move with the same loose movement, throw similar punches, react to damage similarly, use the same defensive logic, and make similar tactical decisions, then you do not truly have 200 different boxers. Then you do not truly have 200 different boxers. And a lot of people don't care because to them, a boxing game is no different than a fighting game, and they're 100% different. At least with a fighting game, you know certain characters have certain things they do. All of the characters don't really do the same thing in a fighting game. But in a so-called realistic boxing game, they automatically tone things down. If y'all heard some of the conversations that I'm talking about, if y'all knew some of the conversations that I had, a lot of y'all be extremely mad. All right, you have 200 characters modeling. I mean, 200 character models sharing a limited gameplay identity. That is not enough, but to a lot of fans, it is, and that's sad. Boxing game requirement numbers. Boxing game requirement number. 1. Individual boxer identity. Every boxer should have a detailed identity built from attributes, tendencies, capabilities, traits, mannerisms, signature movements, punch mechanics, defensive preferences, ring positioning, tactical intelligence, emotional discipline, adaptability, conditioning, durability, risk tolerance, preferred range, combination habits, counter punching habits, clinch habits, inside fighting ability, response to pressure, response to fatigue, response to injury. A boxer should not be defined only by an overall rating. A boxer should not be defined by an overall rating. But to some people, that's what a boxer is. A lot of people, they needed to be educated because I was like, yo, a lot of y'all really don't understand sports gaming or what boxing is. Two boxers can have the same ratings. Two boxers can have the same ratings. It doesn't mean that they are the same individually, like with the individual numbers. The individual numbers may be different, like I keep telling people. The individual numbers can be different. Yeah, both of them is 89 or 90. But what brought them to that 89 or 90? That's thinking. That's a sports gamer. Two boxers can both be rated 88 overall and still be completely different. One might be a fast outside boxer with questionable durability. The other might be a physically strong pressure boxer with slow feet and excellent inside defense. Their overall ratings may be equal, but their strengths, weaknesses, strategies, and matchup problems should be completely different. The game must understand that. All right, community conversation, community voice. All right. Casual players do not want to study hundreds of ratings and tendencies before they can enjoy the game. This is somebody wrote this. Casual players do not want to study hundreds of ratings and tendencies before they can enjoy the game. They don't have to. Do like you normally do. Figure it out. You ain't got to study it. Just figure it out. You're going to play that character. Eventually, you're going to say, oh, he's good in this and good in that. Then it makes you want to look for more. They should not have to. A deep system does not require a complicated user experience. The artificial intelligence can use those tendencies automatically. Casual players can select a boxer and play. Simulation players can open the advanced menus and customize the deeper settings. This is what good design look like. This is what good design looks like. Depth underneath the surface does not prevent accessibility. It creates authenticity. And y'all know how I feel about that word. But in this aspect, it fits. All right. The problem is not complexity. The problem is presenting complexity poorly. The problem is presenting complexity poorly. A lot of people don't see that, but I see it. I see these things. Boxing game requirement number 2, authentic movement. Authentic movement or realistic movement. I hate the word authentic, but because a certain company stained what authentic could be. But I'm going to say authentic with realism. Authentic, realistic movement. I'm going to use it that way. All right. Footwork cannot be treated as decorated movement. Footwork cannot be treated as decorative movement. Footwork is part of boxing intelligence. The game needs to understand that. Range management, literal movement, cutting off the ring, circling away from the power hand, stepping outside the lead foot, pivoting after combinations, retreating and balance, advancing behind the jab, trapping opponents near the rope, escaping corners, resetting the stance, switching stances with realistic consequences. This is something I'm going to repeat it again. Switching stances with realistic consequences. And we had that in the game at first. They changed it back. So when they start changing stuff, that means you want the game to be arcade, but you really don't want to disappoint certain people. Because you know the game will not sell if it was arcade. Because if arcade games can sell, there are 15 developers that I know that wanted to make an arcade boxing game. They want to make arcade boxing games, and I knew they weren't going to sell. And they started listening and paying attention to the community, and they said, yeah, it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. And a lot of people, no, man, it would have sold. Let them make the game. No, it wouldn't have sold. Nobody's not going to waste money for a few people enjoyment. Nobody is going to waste money for a few people enjoyment. Arcade sports games do not really sell that well. Do your research. Do your research. Arcade sports games do not sell well in this era. Let me see. Fighting while moving forward. Fighting while moving backwards. Punching while stationary. Punching while transferring weight. A boxer should not glide around the ring because a universal movement system decided that everyone must feel loose and responsive. Yeah, I'm getting on Still City. So what? What they gonna do to me? Joe Frazier should not move like Muhammad Ali. George Foreman should not move like Roy Jones Jr. Pernell Whitaker should not defend like Arturo Gatti. James Toney should not react to pressure like Amir Khan. A boxer movement must be connected to that boxer's body, conditioning, style, stance, balance, age, weight class, and physical intentions. And I'm gonna say this before I move on to my next post. A lot of y'all gonna say, that's too much stuff. They can't add all that. Man, it's not 30, 40, 20 years ago. It's not, we're not living back then. Anything in boxing can be added into boxing. Anything that fans want can be put in the game. It's on the developers. Some of them don't want to do work. And I hate to say it, because a lot of developers watch my show. Some of the developers are lazy. And developers said that. Developers said that. Some developers are just lazy or know how to get over on the company they're working for. And I know one of the people that's in a certain company that changed the game to what it became. Boxing game requirements number 3, real inside fighting. Real inside fighting. A boxing game cannot claim to represent the sport accurately while treating close range boxing like an inconvenience. That's exactly what Steel City did. They treated inside fighting as an inconvenience, like it was annoying, like it's something they didn't really need to do. But you're representing a boxing game. You're representing boxing as a sport. But you think it's okay to remove certain things from the game. That's crazy. Inside fighting needs its own complete mechanical structure. Inside fighting needs its own complete mechanical structure. And you know what people gonna start saying? Yo, bro, you see right there, that means it's gonna be hard. No, it's not gonna be hard to be put in. It's not gonna be hard to be to put in a game. Y'all keep finding excuses for the developers. A lot of times the developers not even saying anything. Y'all giving them the excuses. That includes shoulder positioning, head placement, framing. A lot of people don't even know what the word framing is. Hand fighting, short hooks, compact uppercuts. And Steel City was having a hard time with uppercuts. Yet I seen indie companies and old companies know how to do uppercuts. That had nothing to do with. How's it going, Nancy? All salutes. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you. All right. Body punching, catching, and returning. Rolling under short punches. Smothering opponent offense. Turning an opponent. We can't even do that in the game because there's no clinching. Leaning without becoming magnetic. I can't believe that is still a thing in video gaming. Magnetic. And a lot of people defend, man, see, no matter what you're going to do, that magnetic effect. No, it's not. I could do a whole show on magnetic boxes being magnetic and stuff like that to when they get inside. No, that is a design choice. All right, creating punching room. Clinching voluntarily. Clinching defensively. Clinching when hurt. And this is another thing. People think you shouldn't clinch when you're hurt. They say they think you should. And this, you know, the funniest thing is people that box that think you shouldn't clinch them when you're hurt. I've boxed. I would be a fool not to have clinched anybody. I'm fighting a guy 6'6", 6'5", 6'4", 6 feet tall. They hit me with a body shot or something that probably dazed me or stunned me a little bit. I'm clinching. And to a person, they're always saying a person is running. Which one would you rather the person do, run or clinch? And my thing is, if you're hurt, you should move away from the person until you clear your head and get yourself together. But a lot of people want you to constantly fight if you're hurt. That's outside fighting. Boxing is a sport. You want everything to play out the way that you would do out in the streets. That's not real boxing. That's street fighting. Working out of the clinch. Referee's separation. Warning for excessive holding. Dirty boxing tendencies. Fatigue created by physical wrestling. And this is one of the reasons that people clinch too. They try to wear you down. They clinch you. There's times I was sparring with people in the gym. They'd be lighter than me. I'm working with a middleweight or a light heavyweight or something like that. I'm the bigger guy. So I'm going to clinch them just for the heck of it. It makes them work better. So I clinch them, lean on them and everything. Like, man, stop clinching me. Clinch on them. Yo, work your way out. Work your way out of the clinch. Make me stop clinching you. Stop complaining. Work and create distance between us. Stop complaining about clinching. Ask for the tools to stop clinching. Ask them to give the game mechanics where you could push a person off or you could time a person coming in to clinch. And like I tell you, I got a story like this guy was clinching me. He was 6'6". And we was fighting in the, the state championships. Was it the state championship? I want to get it right. I think it was the state championship. And, no, we was fighting in the diamond gloves. No, because I had so many fights I don't remember most of them, but I think we was fighting in the diamond gloves. And the guy kept clinching me. He kept clinching me and wearing me down, clinching me, wearing me down, clinching me, wearing me down. I said, damn, this Joker, I see what he's doing. So I said, all right. I faked like I was coming in, and he went to clinch me, and he's clenched air. And I hit him. Boom! Out of there. So clinching it's things that you can do to stop a person from clinching you. But a lot of people hate thinking. They think a video game a boxing video game, you shouldn't be able to think. But you think when you play all these RPGs and different games. But you think a sports game or boxing shouldn't a person shouldn't think. It's thinking. Boxing is a thinking sport. Yeah, some people are reckless. A lot of times they're not successful. A lot of times they can overpower the person. A lot of people think Tyson didn't have strategies and the way he fought and stuff. A lot of things Tyson did was strategy. Yeah, he was coming out there full blast, throwing punches, but a lot of it was coordinated. He thought about everything he was going to do to that opponent. But a lot of people, they're not thinking. They go about how they feel, what they think. And like I tell people, go train a boxer and then see your results. All right. Inside fighting cannot be reduced to two characters models colliding while punches clip through their bodies. That means it has to be implemented. And in this day and age, especially with Unreal Engine, clipping is almost non-existent. Inside fighting cannot be reduced to two character models colliding while punches clip through their bodies. It must look, feel, and function like an actual range of boxing. All right. Boxing requirement number 4. Complete defensive systems. Complete defensive systems. Defense must be more than holding a block button until a meter runs out. Defense must be more than holding a block button while a meter runs out. A complete defensive system needs high guard, cross arm guard, Philly shell, long guard, catching punches, parrying. A lot of people don't want parrying in the game, but it's a part of boxing. No matter how many people do it, it is a part of boxing. Because my thing is, if you say not everybody do it, so what? So what? If not everybody does it, should that guy that does parrying when he fights, should that be out of the game? No. There's times me, 5'11", short compared to some boxers, but there's champions I stood by that was heavyweights and they were champions. I say, hold up, I'm taller than this joker. But we gotta stop saying certain things should not be in a game that's part of boxing. In this day and age, I'm gonna keep repeating it. Everything that's in boxing should be in boxing. Deflect punches. I was good at that. Deflecting punches, pull counters, slipping. Slipping and undisputed is not really that good. Especially all boxers don't slip the same way. But they didn't want to spend the time on that. Ducking under punches, rolling. See, people think when you slip, it's ducking. That's something totally different. When you slip, rolling, that's something totally different. Leaning, that's not really slipping, because when it comes to leaning, it's not a slip, because some people lean back, lean to the side from a punch, lean this way to a punch. And not that jump that Steel City got in the game, but you can lean back here like for the whole fight almost. Lean back. Your back would give way. And you will fall off balance, especially when a person punching at you. And my thing is, a person lean back, my first thing that I would tell one of the people that I train, if they're leaning back a lot, fake to the head, hit to the body. Fake to the head, hit to the body. Because they're going to be so comfortable leaning back, they're not going to protect their body. So you fake to the head, or you throw a punch at the head and go directly to the body. Pivoting. We need pivoting in a boxing game. Why the victorious boxers in other games have pivoting in it? Some people say, no, I didn't. Yeah, of course you're going to say that, because you're trying to defend something that you like. You're going to defend a game that you like. Stepping out of range, smothering punches, clinching, blocking the body, protecting an injured area, anticipating combinations, changing defensive strategies between rounds. The defense should also have consequences. The repeatedly absorbed punches on the gloves should fatigue the arms. An injured hand should affect the blocking and punching. A damaged rib should change body defense. A damaged rib should change body defense. Swelling around the eye should affect reaction time and visibility. How they going, Denise Lieber? Appreciate you. All right. Fatigue may make defense movement slower and less precise. Defense should be active, intelligent, and boxer specific. All right, yeah. So my thing is, we got to act things in the game, because as a paying customer, and this is something that I know a lot of people gonna say, Paul, you keep bringing that up. Like with the transition from the hard copy video games to digital. To me, I know y'all gonna feel some type of way, but to me, when y'all, my thing is, why you're scared for people to have options? People getting mad at people for protesting not having physical games. And a lot of people really don't know what's going on. Because You taking physical gains from people, you control the narrative of everything. You control the narrative of everything. They could overcharge us. You can't share your game with your friend. You can't play your game when your internet is down. Like if you're just playing offline mode is gonna like really they're gonna try to that's gonna be their next movement. Offline mode is not gonna be a thing. But people keep pushing against, and I'm like, that's crazy for people to push back on people that want options. And I know that feeling. And I know that feeling because I want options in a boxing video game. And people push back against me. They push back, say, "Bro, you gotta move up with the times." So you're okay with taking away all your rights. You're okay with taking away your options. That means you want to be controlled. You want to be an android. You want to be an android. All right, let me get back to this. Stop sounding political. All right. Boxing game requirement number 5. Punches connect to the body. Punches connect to the body. People gonna say it, but we haven't got real body punching. Like we could look at it and be like, yo, look how the body punching doesn't look good to me. To me. And you got people that's gonna say, well, they have boxers in the studio. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean anything. I had an electrician here, dude. That means that I got all the electronics. No. Y'all got to start thinking. Just because they have boxers in the studio means nothing. They're paid. They're getting paid. And they give them, I think, who gave the most feedback was Teofimo Lopez. You know, a lot of things I don't like about Teofimo Lopez, but that's one thing I have to salute to him. Salute. All right. Punches should not be floating animations. Punches should not be floating animations attached to a character model. They must be connected to foot position, hip rotation, shoulder rotation, weight distribution, balance, reach, arm length, torso length, stance, momentum, fatigue, injury, punching angle, targeting location. All right, let me say something. A lot of people, they talk about not connecting certain punches. Like if you got short arms, you got to move in a little more. My thing is, if you're moving in and you're very close to the person enough to throw the punches, that's one thing. But if you think just because you threw a body punch it's supposed to land, you're crazy. And that's the sad part about Steel City and other individuals listening to this garbage. This is why I say boxers should have more say-so in the studio. Not that marketing crap that they're showing us. That's marketing to me. Until they show me anything better, that's marketing. Hey, let's put a guy in here catching Teofimo Lopez. That's marketing. Let's do this. Let's do that. That's marketing. I didn't see any gameplay or anything. And no disrespect to my content creative friends, the people that I call friends. It's marketing. They want y'all to feel a certain way or see certain things. It's marketing. And my thing is until y'all get your hands on the game, and I'm still gonna feel like it's still marketing, because the game might look trash or might not look that good, and y'all not gonna say too much because y'all don't want to lose out on being able to come to the studio again. Y'all don't want to lose out on those things that y'all get, those specialties. All right. A boxer throws a planted right hand should create different force from a boxer throwing a desperate right hand while falling backwards. And that's, to me, when I say this, it's more to that, because it's a person that could be falling backwards, he's off balance, but there are boxers that can knock people out, like Mike Tyson did it. Is off the ground. They're doing all the things that you're told that is not, which is true. You're supposed to do what you're normally supposed to do, but if you're not gifted or you don't have the strength to do these certain things, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, some boxers, they can smack you and knock you out. They can smack. I seen people actually throw smacking punches. And the amateurs, you know how many people I knocked out with a smack punch? Hitting with the palm of my hands like that. That's called a smack punch, because I'm trying to throw real quick punch, because like that you can throw faster punches than you like concentrating on, like, you know, technique. But a lot of my punches with certain people, like especially when I'm fighting bigger, harder punches, I'm trying to tenderize them, so to say. And I'm throwing a lot of punches and boom, catch them. A short inside hook should not require the same space as a long range hook. A short inside hook should not require the same space as a long range hook. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know the difference between a hook, a regular hook, and an inside hook. Different ranges, different momentum. You got to throw more body when you're on the inside. Some people, they don't. Some people, they don't. It's plenty of people that got knocked out. All the person did was like, boom, turn the hand over. Boom, turn the hand over, knocked them out. I seen a middleweight, and it was funny. I'm not going to say no names because both of them are friends. I seen a middleweight knock out a super heavyweight. And when I say super heavyweight, the guy was an amateur super heavyweight. And the middleweight was a profession. And shout out to my guy, Brown Sugar. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Brown Sugar. All right. I call my brother. We always call each other brother. He was a good boxer, very good boxer. An arm punch should not carry the same force as a properly transferred power punch. Depends on the person, though. Punches while off balance should increase vulnerability to counters, 100%. Missing a power punch should create a realistic recovery window, not an artificial assigned competitive game punishment window. And this is what I see a lot. Let me read this again to the people in the back row that didn't hear me. Missing a power punch should create a realistic recovery window, not an artificial assigned competitive game punishment window. So that means they're tacking on to make it competitive. It's like a punishment window for the competitive gaming. And you giving all of us that, and that's not what we asked for. All right. The physics and animation system must understand why the boxer is vulnerable. The physics and animation systems must understand why the boxer is vulnerable. And I hear people keep saying, we need a vulnerability system. And I'm like, this joker really don't know what vulnerability is. He just keep repeating it. All right. Should we trust SCI? Should we trust Steel City Interactive? And I know there's going to be like probably 200 or more people that's going to say yes, because they want to believe in Steel City. But me, I'm not trusting them. I got to see the game first. Now we arrive at the uncomfortable question. Should the boxing community trust Steel City Interactive to deliver a game for every fan, not just the online players? My answer is do not give SCI blind trust. Do not deny SCI the opportunity to prove themselves. But do not deny SCI to prove themselves. That is the fair position. SCI officially acknowledged that areas of the original game did not meet its desired quality levels. The company ended further updates and content development for the original Undisputed and shifted its resources to a sequel being developed in Unreal Engine. SCI also repeated that its goal was to serve hardcore boxing fans and casual fans. That doesn't mean a thing to me, because when you say hardcore boxing fans and casual fans, that can mean hybrid. That doesn't necessarily mean options. Until you tell me we're going to have options for hardcore fans, hybrid fans, and casual players. And you know what some people in the community say? Well, how are they going to test for hardcore fans and casual fans? Hardcore players, hybrid players, and casual players. That's how you do the testing. Stop making excuses for Steel City and other companies. Because all these things that I be saying, it's not for just Steel City. It's for other companies that are thinking about making a boxing video games. Those statements deserve to be recognized. However, acknowledgement is not delivery. A new engine is not automatically a new philosophy. A rebuilt architecture does not guarantee deeper boxing systems. Hiring experienced developers does not automatically guarantee that management will approve the right design decisions. And that's one of my major things that I fear. Hiring does not automatically guarantee that management will approve the right design systems or decisions. More motion capture does not guarantee better mechanics. More licensed boxers do not guarantee stronger boxer identity. Better graphics do not guarantee better boxing. SCI must demonstrate that it understands what went wrong at the design level, not only at the technical level. Reasons for cautious optimism. SCI is rebuilding the game on a different engine. SCI is building the game on a different engine. The studio has publicly acknowledged that the previous architecture could not support its long-term ambition. SCI is hiring for gameplay programming, artificial intelligence, online programming roles. That indicates continued investment in important technical areas. Although job titles alone do not prove which game modes will receive priority. SCI also has experience from completing and releasing its first major boxing game. To me, SCI did not release a complete boxing game. Once you start removing things, that is not a complete game. Once you start removing things, and most of that removal of things broke your game. The team should not understand the difficulties. The team should now understand the difficulties of punch tracking, network synchronization, animation transitions, career mode architecture, AI, stamina balance, damage reactions, online exploits, community expectations, control certification. Console certification, excuse me. Long-term support. People should benefit from those lessons, but learning a lesson and learning a lesson and applying a lesson are two separate things. Learning a lesson and applying a lesson are two separate things. Reason for continued skepticism. The original game was promoted around authenticity and realism. That before he even realistic sim, realism. Then authenticity crept in there after a certain person entered the picture. All right. Many boxing fans still felt that fundamentally areas of boxing were incomplete. 100%, I saw it immediately. The community asked for deeper inside fighting. The community asked for better clinching. The community asked for in-ring referees. The community asked for more realistic stamina. The community asked for stronger boxing individuality. And this also say, when we talk about individuality, especially for offline modes, the stamina should match the boxer. Because I know y'all don't want this in your online play. But offline, the stamina should match the boxer. Some boxers have high stamina, so you have to work their body more. Some people have low stamina, work their body. So it's a lot of things that go in, and a lot of times the developers probably don't even want to mess with certain things like this. To them, they feel like it's above my pay grade or what they're giving me now. All right. The community asks for more customization. The community asks for deeper offline modes. The community asks for sliders and gameplay options. The community asks for better punch tracking and hit detection. The next game cannot simply improve the existing hybrid formula and call that a simulation. That is not enough. SEI should not be trusted because it released a statement. SEI should be trusted gradually when it provides evidence. Trust should be earned through detailed gameplay demonstrations, unedited full round footage, clear descriptions of each gameplay mode, a complete list of gameplay sliders, an explanation of boxer identity systems. This is what I really, explanation of boxer identity systems. And casual fans will be begging for just the boxer name and character. Do we got more boxers? Why are you asking, do we got more boxers? You gotta ask for what makes those boxers unique to how they fight in real life. Stop just asking for more boxers. A lot of people, we can have 1,000 boxers and only 5 of them fight authentically. And that's the crazy part. Demonstrations of inside fighting and clinching. Offline authentic, offline AI demonstrations. Career mode information, creation suite information. And these are the things, my thing is, when Steel City start promoting well, they never stop marketing. But when they start marketing for Undisputed 2, watch when, and this is what I want y'all to do. Grab a pencil and pen or whatever, and look and see how many people, when they announce the game, Undisputed 2, and look at when they announce the career mode and we get information about it. Look how many people look at that. Not the online mode. I'm talking about the career mode, the creation suite. Write down how many people watch those videos. And that right there will show you which fan base they need to start concentrating on. Career mode has a huge fan base. But because Steel City started backing off of their original idea, it shrunk quickly. And that was by design. Because they said, hey, if we get everybody liking career mode offline, creation suite offline, everybody gonna play offline. So they stopped focusing on things like that. And I'm like, this is one of the things that I'm like leery about. Hopefully we get everybody get what they want, and there is focus on everybody in the community. And stop using words that can be, like they keep using certain things about the community. We're looking out for the online and the offline community. We're looking for when they say stuff like that, it could be a hybrid. So they keep using a broad stroke to let people think that they're talking about them. Community testing involving different fan groups. Community testing involving different fan groups. And that's not what they've been doing. And this is what they need to do. And guess how you do that? You do that by identifying people through polls and third-party surveys. Because if you got one of the questions is, are you offline, online, or do you like playing this game or that game? You know which fans mark them, and you say, all right, I'm gonna pick this person. And when you look at certain things that they mark on the survey, you could tell that they're the right person for what they want in the game, and testing for it. All right, public responses to difficult designs questions. Public responses to different design questions. Proof that competitive balance will not control every mode. This is another thing. Proof that competitive balancing will not control every mode. And that's the problem that I get when I hear Steel City talk. This is how trust is earned. Not through slogans, not through cinematic trailers, not through roster announcements, not through content creators' excitement alone. Not through content creators' excitement alone. And no shame I'm not trying to shame anybody. But y'all got to stick up for everybody. All right. Not through careful editing 2-second clips. What's up, Lamont Davis? Salute, my brother. Appreciate you coming through, man. Appreciate you, man. I'm seeing all these new people popping up, and I ain't see none of y'all pop up yet. I was like, oh man, what's going on? Even though that's a good thing that new people coming in, it helps me get to my 500 mark, and then I'm able to monetize my channel. Let's see. Give us systems, give us settings, give us demonstrations. Give us measurable differences between boxers. Give us ability to determine which experience we want. All right. The mandatory hybrid problem. The mandatory hybrid problem. Let us define the problem clearly. A hybrid boxing game combines realistic and arcade-like concepts. The arcade more than the realistic. All right. This is nothing automatically, excuse me, there is nothing automatically wrong with a hybrid mode. Some people enjoy faster pacing. Some people enjoy easier defensive control. Some people want more action. Some people want shorter matches. Some people want simplified animation. Some people want dramatic knockdowns. Some people want competitive balance to receive priority over historical accuracy. They should have that option. The problem begins when the hybrid becomes mandatory, when one system is forced on everybody. Compromise spread through the entire game. Punch speed may be increased to keep matches alive. Let me see, Harvey Fofi. You in New Jersey? Yeah. North. I'm in North. I'm in Shakur Stevens city. Even though I was here before Shakur Stevens. I was the boxer in North before Shakur Stevenson was born. You know, I was the boxer in North before Shakur Stevens was born. Oh, Sweat, you said you in Long Branch. I got family down in Neptune in Long Branch. Yeah. A restaurant down there in Long Branch, Asbury. But their last name is Mincy's. They have a restaurant down there. All right. That is close by me. Yeah. I used to go through there for UFC shows. Oh, okay. Check you out. Harvey talking a lot today. Harvey Fofi talking a lot today. Shout out to Harvey Fofi. A lot of the regular people popping up here, but a lot of the people that was in the shadows popping out. So that's good. But yeah, I was getting a lot of people. I was like, Dad, what's up? I'm getting all these new people popping in here, and I ain't see none of y'all names. First, Lamont Davis popped up, then you popped up. That's a good thing. All right. Let me see. All right. Separate gameplay lanes, and this is something that I've been talking about for the longest. When Steel City when Ash Habib first contacted me, this is one of my main concerns, and he's like, "Nah, I'm going to represent." Because the game was supposed, and this 100%, I got this conversation. He said the game was going to be realistic and tactical, and he said the more people play it like other games, that's hard. The more they play it, the more they'll learn. Then somebody came in the studio and changed all of that. But Ash wanted different lanes. People should have remembered that. He said in the roadmap they had, in the roadmap that they had, he said, we're going to add an arcade mode. So that right there, people don't understand what was going on. It's like they saw it and they forgot that fast. Oh, he said, I'm here Harvey Fofi said, I'm here because I worked a different schedule today. Oh, all right. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Because I know my show can be a little long-winded, and, you know, a lot of people are like, man, Dad, they like the show, but they don't like the show. But I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. Because my thing is, I know they want me to have back to the original setup with the podcast and stuff like that. But like I tell everybody, that's something I'm working on. All right. Separate gameplay lanes. SCI does not need to develop 3 completely different games. SCI needs to share boxing fundament. SCI needs a shared boxing foundation with separate rules, assists, tuning profiles, and restrictions. Simulation lane. The simulation lane should prioritize realistic boxer ratings, authentic stamina, boxer-specific movement, full clinching, inside fighting, referee enforcement, unpredictable damage, flash knockdowns and knockouts. We had that in the game. But then the casuals start complaining. Flash knockdowns. If you get flash knocked down or knocked out, that means your defense was weak. If you was playing an RPG game, if you kept losing or the character kept hurting you quickly, you don't complain about it. You learn what works. You learn what works, and then you keep playing. But they want to dumb boxing down as much as possible. All right, injuries, cuts and swelling, styles advantages, realistic judging, realistic punch output, longer tactical fights, full gameplay sliders, no artificial competitive stats compression, no artificial competitive stats compression. All right, competitive lane. This is the competitive lane. Daggone, what the heck? All right, the competitive lane can prioritize standard rules, visible connection quality, strong anti-cheat systems, define boxer selection rules, ranked divisions, tournament structures, disconnect penalties, competitive stat adjustments, reduce randomness where appropriate, publish balancing changes, separate leaderboards, matchmaking filters. Competitive adjustments should remain inside competitive play. They should not rewrite offline boxing ratings. They should not alter career mode. They should not control simulation mode. Accessibility or casual lane. The accessibility lane can include simplified controls, stronger defensive assistance, optional punch assistance, slower stamina depletion, easier get up settings. And my thing with the get up settings, I did a whole blog about that. Because get up, that mini game to me, realistic. The get up game, they try to make it look realistic, but the get up game should go by your stats and stuff like that. But hey, when you play hybrid and casual, all right, you got an easier get up game settings. And to people that want to play online or play certain things together, the settings should be a part of that if that's what you want. That's why I always bring up my contract system. If we have a contract system, we can agree on the kind of game we want to play together. Recommended combinations. Tutorial prompts, tactical suggestions, adjustments. This is for casual modes. Adjustable game speed, reduce penalties for mistakes, shorter fights, optional automatic clinching, Optional automatic clinching. Optional automatic corner advice. Casual does not have to mean disrespectful to boxing. Casual does not have to mean disrespectful to boxing. Accessibility should help players understand boxing. It should not redesign boxing into something unrecognizable. All right. Custom hybrid lane. Custom hybrid lane. The custom hybrid lane can allow players to combine features from every category, where the sliders become essential. Let players decide punch speed, power punch, stamina cost, stamina recovery, damage sensitivity, counter punch effectiveness, blocking effectiveness, clinch frequency, referee strictness, cut frequency, swelling frequency, flash knockdown frequency, flash knockout frequency, artificial intelligence aggression, AI intelligence, AI adaptability, AI defensive awareness, movement speed, footwork responsiveness, judge accuracy. A lot of people don't see these the things that we need because there are biases when you're in your hometown. And one thing we always say when we fight in somebody's hometown, don't leave it to the judges. And that should be a thing in boxing, especially if we're playing career mode or we're playing offline gameplay. But maybe I don't want the same rules for online. But offline, home boxer biases, doctor stoppages frequency, corner stoppage frequency, injury severity, career aging, training effectiveness. That is a game for multiple fan bases. That is a game for multiple fan bases. The only reason it's a game for multiple, because when you say hybrid, you don't get to pick the kind of game you want to play. You get to pick the boxer, and y'all fighting in a hybrid game. Discord guy, are you like a boxing coach? You could say that. I box too. I was asked to come to a gym to be a trainer, and I didn't. I went there. I stayed there for a while, and everybody liked me. I'm like, they were looking at me like I was one of the boxers. They was like, "Yo, what you thinking?" Stuff like that. And that felt good. But I know with boxing, at being a boxing coach, because my brother and my uncle, they were trainers, and that snatched their life from them. When you're a boxing trainer, you're in there just as much as the boxer, if not more. Because a lot of times the boxer come in there, you train them, and then there's another group of boxers that come in. And then that's like a job. Some people, that's a 16-hour job. Now I want to say 16 hours. Yeah. Some people, it's like they spend a good part of their day at the gym. And then when they go home, they don't have no time with their wife and their children and stuff like that. And, shout out to the trainers. I really want to train people to doing that. I used to train people while I was boxing. Let me see. This is a great, all right, let me see. Mandatory hybrid is not, a mandatory is not, man, it's not really hybrid. All right. Community debate. Community debate. You cannot please everyone. You cannot please everyone. I hear this from people, but they're not saying it in the way that many people think they're saying it. Because when they say you can't please everyone, they don't want. They're not talking about you can't please the hardcore fans, or you can't please this person that want a realistic boxing game. They're talking about they're not speaking for the people that they should be speaking for. SEI defenders, I call them the SEI defenders, Steel City Interactive defenders. Developers cannot please everyone. At some point, has to choose a vision. And that's one of the things I know that they hit Ash with. Ash, you can't please everybody. And my thing is, you can please everybody. That's what options is for. You can 100% please everybody. Options, sliders. You can please everybody. I agree that a developer needs a vision. Options do not eliminate vision. Options expand the vision. A restaurant can specialize in quality food while still allowing customers to select how their meal is prepared. A restaurant can specialize in quality food while still allowing customers to select how their meal is prepared. A racing simulator can include assists without removing simulation physics. A basketball game can have difficulty. A basketball game can have different difficulty levels, sliders, rules, quarter lengths, and gameplay presets. Why should boxing fans be told that one compulsory gameplay formula is the only possible vision? The foundation should be boxing. The options should determine how demanding, realistic, accessible, and competitive the experience become. This is not trying to please everyone with one compromise system. This is not trying to please everyone with one compromise system. This is respecting different customers through deliberate design. This is respecting different customers through different deliberate design. All right. What the next boxing game must include. What the next boxing game must include, and I'm not only talking about Steel City. A boxer identity engine. I created one. I created the blueprint for a boxer identity engine. All right. Every licensed and created boxer needs a complete identity profile. Not 5 traits, not 10 generic tendencies. Hundreds of, and I know that's what people they say hundreds. It can be done. Y'all keep thinking everything can't be done. Hundreds of meaningful data points should influence behavior. The systems should understand. Hold up. Who popped up in? E-Boxing Champion, salute. Appreciate you coming through. Down goes Dana White. Down goes Will Kinsler. Yo, you shout out, man. All right. The system should understand how often a boxer jabs, which jab the boxer prefers, when the boxer double the jabs, whether the boxer jab to the body, whether the boxer uses the jab while retreating, while boxers, and this is one thing a lot of people, when a boxer is jabbing going backwards, they're saying he shouldn't do that. Nah, he can jab going backwards. He can going back, especially if you're keep going forward and you saying he's going backwards, he's jabbing while he's going backwards. It's not always the kind of backwards y'all saying, because you could jab. They teach you to jab going backwards, but if you're just doing this and just moving real quick, it's no power on that. But if I'm keeping my stance and I'm jabbing and going backwards, jab going backwards, you're going to still feel the power of that punch. But a casual player is going to say, hey, he's jabbing while he's going backwards. Yeah, he can jab while he's going backwards. When I teach somebody, your jab, go forward 3 times. Jab, 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 go backwards. Jab, jab, jab. You put your back foot back first, but jab, because you're keeping your stance. You're keeping a silent stance. So you're jabbing. You're jabbing going backwards. You're moving your foot backwards. Then you creep the front foot backwards. Jab, back. It's hard to explain what I'm going on here because I got to actually show you. But a lot of people, they make up their own rules about what boxing is or should be. They need a good trainer in there. And my thing is, they need Coach Anthony in the studio. And no shade to the guy that they got there, but Coach Anthony asked you first. And he should be there because Coach Anthony, he's a gamer and he's a trainer. So there's no excuse to the community. Unless y'all gonna get him in there and he's so, and no shade to Coach Anthony, because a lot of people could be caught up into it's like your favorite movie star inviting you into their dressing room just to talk and listening to their movies and experiences and stuff, and you get caught up, and you trying to be as nice as possible, and they're telling you what they're putting in the game. They're not asking you, but they got you there because a lot of the community wants certain trainers in the gym. But they're telling them, hey, we're putting this in the game. And that trainer should immediately say, no, that's not realistic. And they should not take anything. Oh, but we got to do it for the online experience, for the competitiveness. Well, if y'all making different modes offline and stuff like that, it should be put in the game this way, not the way you want the boxer represented, or how easy it is for. No, people they gotta have the. And my thing, it disappointed me with Ash is because he was talking about certain games that he was playing, and those games are hard, and he knew that people had to learn them. They needed tutorials and stuff like that. And he let somebody come in there and put their formula into his recipe. It's okay with people adding to your ideas, but to shut your ideas down completely, that's where the problem came. And my thing is, there were more developers that I know that was for the idea that Ash had initially. They hated what Undisputed became. And it was funny to me. I was like, hold up, man. Why are you cheerleading for Steel City? They love what they saw. Hey, it's going to help us make another game. It's going to help other developers want to make games. But they didn't make the game that fans and the community want. And when I say community, I'm talking about developers too. All right. The developers that wanted a realistic boxing game. All right. This being combinations, which punches and combinations. A lot of people don't know that. There are punches that you throw that can end the combination, that can end that person competition in a fight. All right. Preferred counter punches, favorite defense responses, preferred ring zones. I was about to say ringtones. No, preferred ring zones. There's boxers that fight in a certain area of the ring, and they're positioned right back to that area of the ring. Comfort near the ropes, comfort at close range, reactions, and you know this is something I know I'll keep stopping, but this is something that used to make my trainer annoyed because I'm short. And sometimes I used to box on the outside. He said, "Man, you're making it hard for yourself. You got to do more movements, getting out the way of punches. Then you got to work your way inside." And my thing was, sometimes I like to prove people wrong. That was always with me. I like to prove people wrong. Sometimes joke a person that's taller than me, long arms. I slide under their jab or their right hand, and I throw a counter. I slide, or when they're bringing it back, I ride their jab back. I ride it back on an angle. I ride it back, and boom, hit them with a hook. Throw an uppercut, or I ride back their right hand, and it's crazy. I think about, say, Dad, man, I could have been a world champion, because a lot of things that I know now that I was kind of stubborn with then, man, I could have been a world champion or a contender. All right. Comfort near the ropes. Comfort at close range. Reaction after being hurt. Urgency when being on the scorecards. Excuse me. Urgency when behind on the scorecard. Willingness to take risks. Ability to follow corner instructions. Ability to recognize patterns. And that's the thing. That's why we get mad about when people be saying certain things is wrong. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Lamont Davis. Yeah, because when they say recognizing patterns, when you keep seeing something is not working for you, you should recognize that pattern that the person doing, and you coming in another way. Because it was times that, and I hate talking about me and boxing, but it was times that a joker used to be hitting me with right hands. I was like, hold up. And my uncle, he'd tell me something. Sometimes I didn't listen because I was kind of stubborn like that. And I said, hold up, I keep getting hit with that right hand. Or the right hook, or the left hook. So I said, hold up, let me see something. So I tried to do a certain technique, and I said, all right, I see what's going on. So I said, next time I come in there, I'm going to counter that. So that's recognizing patterns. Even if you're still doing good in the fight, you still should be able to recognize patterns, and that's what the game should be. That's what made me happy with Ash. When Ash was saying the game was going to be like an RPG, he said the ESBC version of the game is going to be like an RPG for boxing. And I said, oh, we about to get everything that I ever wanted. And that would have been recognizing patterns. That's like RPG. But a lot of people wanted Tekken. A lot of people wanted Mortal Kombat. A lot of people wanted Street Fighter. They didn't want a boxing game. That's why I was like, that's one of the times when a person like me say, stop listening to everybody. I know people in your studio says that, Ash, but stop listening to everybody. Listen to the hardcore boxing fans. Let people learn boxing. Let them learn what it takes. It's not going to dilute the fan base. It's going to make them want to do more, especially when you got modes and stuff that they can adjust the controls. That information should not remain cosmetic. Everything that I said should not remain cosmetic. It should control AI, animations, tactical decisions, commentary, career development, and matchup behavior. There should be harder matchups. You should have hard matchups. But you should figure out that hard matchup, that difficult matchup. All right, two, intelligent AI intelligence. Intelligent AI intelligence. AI should not cheat by reading control inputs. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? AI should not cheat by reading control inputs. It should observe behavior. Y'all say, hold on, how AI going to observe behavior? It can do it 100%. It should recognize patterns. It can do that 100%. But are they going to tell you that? Not at all. It should make mistakes. It should misjudge distance. It should become overconfident. It should become hesitant after being hurt. It should listen to the corner based on the boxer discipline and intelligence. It should distinguish between being aggressive and being reckless. It should understand when it is winning. It should understand when it needs a knockout. It should show when to survive. It should know when an opponent is exhausted. It should attack injuries intelligently without becoming robotic. Most importantly, different boxers should make different decisions. CPU versus CPU fights should look believable without a human behavior forcing the action. That should be one of the primary tests of boxer identity. That should be one of the primary, because if CPU, like we have James Toney, and we had, I'm just using them as an example, James Toney and Roy Jones. It should look like a fight with James Toney and Roy Jones. But a lot of people don't pay attention to certain things like that. They're scared to invest time on stuff like that because they feel like it's going to make the fans want to play CPU versus CPU fights. They can make content off of that. Let's say you do a whole CPU versus, if you had that option, a CPU versus CPU career mode. You created a boxer, or you created the ecosystem for that boxing career mode. People are going to want to see that, but companies not going to give us that because they want to find ways to make as much money as possible off of that. And my thing is, you still can. That should be one of the primary tests of boxer identity. All right. Complete clinching and referee systems. Clinching is part of boxing. It can be tactical. It can be defensive. It can be assessive. It can help a hurt boxer survive. It can frustrate a pressure boxer. It can slow the pace. It can allow a boxer to recover. The referee must recognize excessive holding. It depends on the boxer. It depends on the boxer. And my thing, thanks, no, tomorrow. Tomorrow, EA is officially sold to the Saudis. And my thing is, a lot of them are looking at my wish list, and I hope at some point they say, hey, Poe, we want you to help with this project. Man, I'd be like, and my thing is, and I'm going to say it now, no matter what, care how people feel or what, if the Saudis are making a new fight night or a new boxing game, and they say, can they use my ideas or they pull me in, I'm going in there like it's a boxing match. I'm going in it like it's a boxing match. Them versus Steel City. I'm going in there like it's a boxing match. And I'm going to look at Steel City like they're my enemies. Will I still support Steel City? Depends on what the game look like. But I'm going in there like, if they invite me to be a part of, because I see a lot of views, a lot of people watching my content or my posts on LinkedIn and stuff like that. And some of my stuff, I tag them in and they don't block me. All right. I'm gonna move on because I don't want to prolong this show too long. All right. All right. Yeah, this one of the things. Real career and boxing universe. Companies are scared of this. They scared to create this. And their thing is, hey, let's just make a career and boxing universe for online. It's still not going to make people play online. It's going to make the online players that play online, they might think about playing. But if it's an option, I will play both. Career mode cannot be a sequence of menus leading to disconnect fights. Career mode cannot be sequence of menus leading to disconnected fights. Around the player. Promoters should sign talent. Managers should negotiate opportunities. Trainers should develop boxers. Contenders should rise and fall. Champions should defend, unify, move divisions, retire, return, and lose titles outside the ring. Organizations should create rankings. Mandatory challengers should emerge. Boxers should reject fights. Networks should influence exposure. I'm going back to boxers should reject fights. You should be able to go into the settings before you reject fights, or you set it as they can reject the fights. Just options. You should have options to play the way you want. Networks should influence exposure. Gyms should produce prospects. Amateur careers should matter. Amateur careers should matter. And I'm going to keep saying that. It should matter. We should have almost endless fights. If you get too old, you get too old. Just imagine a person had 300 or 400 fights in the amateurs. With the old rules, because you could fight 2 or 3 times in one day. And that's how a lot of boxers have a lot of fights, because they're fighting more than once in one day. So in the amateurs. So we need career mode. We need amateur mode. That's building up. Or you could have a short career mode. Let's say you had 26 amateur fights, or you had 10 amateur fights, and you beat all 10 of them amateur fights, and you say, all right, I'm going to pros. We should have them options. All right. Training camp should involve strategic decisions, depending on your training camp. Injuries should affect preparations. Weight cutting should carry consequences. Short notice fights should create risk. Short notice fights should create risk. Man, if a company build the right game, I'm taking all short notices, because I want to build a record for my fighter. especially if it's the amateurs and stuff like that. Well, early fights, especially if they're fights that I know that they might be, because you don't want to put wear and tear early on your boxer or yourself. So if they're too risky, I'm like, nah, pass that one. But once I start like getting up there, like, cause you got to acclimate. Some people, they've been amateurs so long, they acclimated themselves because they had so many fights. But sometimes you got to acclimate yourself to a pro, because pros is a different structure. So you got to acclimate yourself to the pros. Rivalries should develop naturally. Rivalries should develop naturally. The players should feel like one participant living boxing industry. The players should feel like one participant in a living boxing industry all the time. I got to. Because repetition stays in the person's mind. If you repeat something constantly in different ways, it stays in the person's mind. Like, hey, I got an idea. We're going to make a deep creation mode. Oh, all right, they got it. All right, players should be able to create more than boxers. The creation suite should allow players to create boxers, trainers, managers, promoters, referee, judges, commentators, announcers, cutmen, gyms, training camps, arenas, belts, sanctioning organizations, promotions, stables, events, broadcast packages, rule sets, historical errors. Creative boxers should have edible tendencies, compatibilities, traits, mannerisms, punch styles, defensive behaviors, career history, amateur records, professional records, injuries, rivalries, and tactical preferences. Players should be able to share complete boxing universes, not only faces and shorts. Offline players must not be treated as an afterthought. Offline players should not be treated like an afterthought. Offline players purchase the game too. They want career mode, tournament mode, event mode, CPU versus CPU, spectator mode, custom championships, historical scenarios, fantasy matchups, universe simulation, local multiplayer, custom rules, sliders, full roster editing. Shout out to Alabama Country Boy. Created organizations, created rankings, created fight cards. Offline modes also preserve a game after online servers decline. Offline modes also preserve a game after online servers decline. A serious sports game should respect that. Now, the original Undisputed included offline and online modes, career modes, and character creation, but the sequel announcement did not provide a detailed mode list mode list or explain how offline and online development will be prioritized. And like I said, we might not have an offline. This is why the community needs specific answers. And again, I know people are going to say, Poe, we're going to have offline. They had a career mode. You ain't see the guy walk down the stairs to the gym. That don't mean nothing. That can be a fight hub you walking into. Companies does that. There are games that have stuff like that. So it could be an online fight hub. They're playing us probably. They're playing us. I hope not, but they're probably playing us because they could say, "Hey, we never said it was going to have a offline career mode." They could say that. Questions SCI must answer. answer before asking the box community to believe that the sequel is for every boxing fan. Question 1. Will the game include separate simulation, competitive, casual, and customizable gameplay presets? A simple yes or no would immediately clarify the design direction. A simple yes or no would immediately clarify the design direction. Question 2. Will competitive online alter boxing ratings and behaviors in offline modes? The answer should be no. Competitive balance should have its own configuration. Question 3. Will the game include extensive gameplay, AI intelligence, referee, damage, and career sliders? Do not tell us that internal testing found the perfect universal balance. Do not tell us that internal balancing found the perfect universal balance. Don't want to hear that crap. That's nonsense. There is no universal balance for every player. There is no universal balance for every player. Question 4. Will clinching, inside fighting, rope fighting, and referee interaction be complete gameplay systems at launch? These cannot remain future possibilities. And this is development talk. When they say, yeah, that's a future possibility, look what that got us with inside fighting and clinching. Will every boxer have detailed tendencies and tactical behavior? I don't know why I said behavior. Should two technically similar boxers behave differently? Show two technically similar boxers behaving differently. Do not only show different punch animations, show different decisions. Question 6. Will offline players receive CPU versus CPU event creation? Will offline players receive CPU versus CPU event creation, tournament options, universe features, and full customization? Offline should be part of the initial design, not something considered after online features are complete. And I know a lot of online people will say offline should take a big back seat, and that's sad. Question 7. Who is testing the simulation experience? Are actual trainers, actual boxers, former boxers, boxing historians, hardcore boxing fans, and experienced sports simulation players? And are they involved? Boxing celebrities alone are not enough. A boxer does not automatically make someone an expert in sports game design. Being a boxer does not automatically make someone an expert in sports game design, because every boxer look at styles differently. Being a content creator does not automatically make someone a representative of the entire community, and that's 100% correct. Being a content, because everybody creator does not agree with everything everybody in the community say. So how are you represented? Like a lot of people, a lot of content creators don't like my ideas or like what I be saying, because they're like, you're talking about offline. Why everything you say is about offline, everything I say is not about offline. But I'm not going to fully represent offline when I do not play online. People want me to represent what they like, but they don't want to represent what I like. All right. Question 8. Will SCI conduct an independent community survey with public release results? I had to put that in there. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Aaron. I had to put that in there. That survey should include hardcore boxing fans, casual boxing fans, offline players, online players, career mode players, creation suite players, competitive players, simulation players, content creators, players who stopped playing the original game. Do not survey only the most active supporters. Do not survey only the most active supporters. I would not want Estevan to be one of the main voices of the community. I would not want people like Estevan. And I hate calling people out, but they subliminally be calling me out. But I would not want him to be my voice. And like I said, before he start doing before somebody tag him in or say something, my thing is, you're not going to disrespect me, because I don't care if I only had two amateur fights. I still have more fights than you, and I didn't have only two amateur fights. I'm a decorated amateur. And I hate to sound like I'm gatekeeping or, because I'm using what I say as context for the people that like to act like your voice means nothing. I've trained people. I've boxed. I was a decorated amateur. I was a times Golden Glove champion, 3 times Diamond Glove champion, 3 times state champion. So all that nonsense of trying to disrespect me on a DL, it's not going to work, because you like fighting games, and I have to respect that. But stop trying to make the game a fighting game. It's a boxing game. Every boxer fights differently, and I'm not going to even keep digging into that. All right, I'm not going to keep digging. All right, survey the customers who left. Survey the customers who left. Why did they leave? Because a lot of customers left after they got their hands on the game and it wasn't what they really wanted. A lot of customers left. Question 9. Will SCI release unedited gameplay before launch? I kind of doubt it, because a lot of their videos they've been showing us was edited. Like they showed us that the ESBC. I don't know why I keep saying the ESBC version. That was kind of edited, but then they had the gameplay that they were showing us for the undisputed versions of the game, and a lot of that was edited. So show us unedited versions of the game. Until then, don't give us nothing. We need full rounds. We need different weight classes. We need different styles. And check this out. I remember when I was helping EA, we were doing full rounds when we did videos and stuff. We were doing full rounds to show people how the game play. I even did a comparison video with Tommy Hearns. I forget who it was, but it was side by side, showing him and his character. And the way they had it at that time, it was great. We need different weight classes. We need videos from different weight classes. Content creators, this is what y'all should be asking, Sil City. Give us an earlier version of the game that can be used as marketing. That can be used as marketing. They could give us probably 4 rounds. And let us see different weight classes. We need different styles. We need AI against AI intelligence. I know what it stands for, but a lot of people, they don't understand. AI versus AI show you what the game is really giving to you. We need inside fighting. We need clinching. We need fatigue. We need injuries. We need imperfect situations, not only highlight real moments. Question 10. I think this is going to be my last question. Will SEI publish a feature comparison chart so the community, show the community what is returning, what is being rebuilt, what is being expanded, what is being removed, what is planned for launch, what may arrive after launch, what is still experimental. That is transparency. I'm gonna do one talking point. All right, one of my talking points: realism is not fun. People say that. Realism is not fun. Realism and enjoyment are not opposites. Realism and enjoyment are not opposites. Boxing is already. Styles create drama. Fatigue creates drama. Momentum creates drama. A boxer survives after being hurt creates drama. A tactical adjustment creates drama. A late knockout creates drama. A controversial decision creates drama. Developers do not need to redesign boxing to manufacture excitement. They need to represent boxing properly. All right, I'm gonna end the show with that, but I'm gonna give some quick shout. In the chat, y'all can put yes, so y'all can read the script yourself. So I'll post it on my blog, and y'all can see it. So if y'all want to see it, I'll post it so y'all can read through it. So y'all can read the whole script because I didn't read it all. All right. Shout out to Don D205. Shout out to Leafy. Shout out to Harvey Fofi. Harvey Fofi came through today. Shout out to Harvey Fofi. Shout out to Lamont Davis. Shout out to E-Boxing Champions. Shout out to Discord Guy. Let me see. Shout out to Crooks the Great. Shout out to Denise Lieber. Shout out to Nancy. Shout out to Ragnar. Shout out to Kitten. Shout out to Veronica. Let me see. Shout out to the Wishlist Mafia. Shout out to Papanosis. Shout out to Vlad. Let me see. Well, shout out. Shout out to Rainmaker. Shout out to Marky Pablo. Shout out to S.V. He Hot. Shout out to Adore, Mr. Adore. Shout out to Box Fanatical. Shout out to King Juice. I don't know where we went as I thought we was building a friendship. I don't know what happened. But shout out to King Juice, man. That's my guy. He's a young guy. I think he's my son age. But shout out to King Juice. Very intelligent brother. Shout out to Donnie. I'm still waiting, Donnie. Shout out to JMMA Shep. Shout out to Jay Shep. Jay Shep, give me an answer, man. Give me an answer. Shout out to who I'm shout out to. Shout out to Gwen Leg. She on the boxing production. She always hit me up. Shout out to Gwen Leg. She's trying to create something. I don't know what it is, but she's trying to create something. I think she's thinking about making a boxing game. So shout out to Gwen Leg. Shout out to my guy Shannon Briggs. Salute. Shout out shout out to everybody, because I'll be here thinking all day long. And y'all got to remind me to make a list of the names of the people that I didn't talk about. Shout out to Shaolin Freeze. Shout out to Blaster X1. You know, shout out to Mike. Shout out to Don T, whole crew over there. And shout out to the developers that be in the background listening to the show. I appreciate y'all. You know, just listen, you know, or the people that pop in, you know, just hit the like button, you know. Anytime you pop in, I'm trying to get into the algorithm so I could be more. I like I tell everybody, I'm going through a struggling phase. I gotta get everything back in order. But you know, that's neither here nor there. And I appreciate all of y'all and much love. Peace.